Welcome back, everybody. So I am super excited to go out fishing today, not necessarily to use a new lure, but kind of more of an accessory, and that's the Geecrack Bubble Nail. It looks incredibly interesting. As soon as I saw it online, I had to buy it. I think I bought it from, I believe it was Copper State that had it the cheapest, but yeah, really interesting little addition to your lures. So we are going to go ahead and get into it, talk about it, pop these open, and hopefully catch some fish. Let's get after it. All right, for this guy, so essentially it is a nail. It's not a weight, but I assume it's shaped similarly to nail weights. And basically you just go ahead and put it into a soft plastic, and whenever it's touching water, it does have to be exposed, it said, to the water, so you can't like bury it in there. But whenever it's exposed to the water, it will go ahead and emit some bubbles and some scent. So I think this would be phenomenal in theory for anything that's bottom bouncing. Obviously your jigs, any sort of Texas rig plastics that you got. I think a Ned rig would be phenomenal. We're going to start off with a Senko, see how that goes. A lot of times you have plastic manufacturers that have baits, you know, creature baits, all that sort of stuff. They have a ton of ridges because those catch air bubbles. And when you're hopping along the bottom, those air bubbles are being released. So it looks super natural. So in theory, this should do the same thing, except better and for longer. So we are going to go ahead and rip this thing open, tie on some baits, get out in the kayak, and then see if we can't catch some fish. See how these work. All right, so there are 5 of these packs in the big pack, and then each of these packs is supposed to hold 5 little nails. So there's 25, and I think they're anywhere from like $6 to like $8 or $9. So let's go ahead and see. And I guess a big thing with these is, even if they work, that's great, but are they worth it? Because how long does it take for these things to kind of run out? And if you have to buy packs and packs to go ahead and fish for a day, it doesn't seem to be super worth it. So they are pretty small. I don't want to lose one. Oh my. And I lost one. All right, let's go ahead and find that because it's not cheap. All right, so this is what it looks like. Tiny little thing. So we are going to go ahead and, again, start off with a Senko, just wacky rigged, and it does have to be exposed. So this is probably a good time for you to go ahead and have like an O-ring, because obviously, especially for Senkos, they're soft. So you probably don't want to be putting, you know, this thing in there and then on top of it putting a hook through it also. So we'll go ahead and put it kind of close to the hook, so it kind of... All right, how easy does it go in? Okay, it's not like terrible. There's definitely going to be some exposure. Probably doesn't look the most natural. You could probably put it in a little bit better of an angle, but there we go. Not crazy. Now let's see if it bubbles. I don't know if this has any matter of water temperature or anything else like that. Okay, it does bubble. Not a ridiculous amount, but it might take a little while to get saturated and start bubbling. I've seen a couple bubbles from it, but nothing crazy. So we are pretty cold today, and the water temp's probably close to 40, so that might have something to do with it. But we'll put the GoPro down there and see if maybe there are a little bit more micro bubbles than I can actually visibly see. All right, pulling her up, it actually does bubble a ton. So you might not be able to see the bubbles, they might not be massive, but it definitely does bubble and disperse some, I assume, scent down there. So, but we'll drop the GoPro down there to see kind of what it looks like, to see if we can't see a little bit more. Again, the water is murky today, so not an ideal probably day to use a Senko, but at the same time, oh yeah, you can see her bubbling now. But at the same time, if this thing does emit a little bit of bubbles and stuff like that, it might be able to attract a couple more fish. But all right, so good news is I think it works, but it works pretty darn fast. And our nail is kind of disintegrated already. So we're still going to fish it for a little bit, see if we can't catch a fish on what's left of it, and we'll go ahead and put another nail in at some point in time. But I guess I've got a couple concerns because that second package that you rip open, it's got no Ziploc. So if you get water in there, in theory, it's all just going to disintegrate. That, and they're obviously made out of like a powder, so they're not going to be super durable. So you're going to have to protect them in a lure box or something like that. So again, I do have some concerns with it, but we'll see if we don't catch some fish, and maybe we can be a little bit less skeptical on it. So about 10 minutes of fishing and that nail is gone. So I guess that's another thing, especially if you're using something like a Senko or something like that. You don't want to put a ton of holes in these things because they aren't super durable. So we'll go ahead and cast a couple more times because there's still a little bit of scent coming out, but then we'll go ahead and throw on another nail. Have not gotten a bite yet, so not ideal. We don't have ideal conditions out though today either, so see if we can get a couple. I think we got one. We do. We got one. Nice. Finally. And we did just put on a new nail weight. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel bad though. Oh, there it is. Little bass. It felt like it had teeth for a second. Felt like it was rubbing. Shouldn't have gotten it deep. We set the hook right away. It's not a bad bass. Oh, where is he? Oh no. There we are. Oh, not a bad little bass. He was rubbing. Didn't get it deep, but there we go. Oh, come on. It's just in the roof of your mouth. Get off. There we are. There we are. Little 2-pounder, maybe 2 1/4. It's got a bunch of parasites on him. Gross. All right. Well, that is our first fish on. Can't even see the nail, so looks like we probably lost this nail too. Oh, let him go. I don't even know why he's bleeding. He was in the roof of the mouth, but we'll let him go. And she's off. Yeah, I have no idea why that one was bleeding. All right. Well, yeah, we had a nail on either side of this, and plastics looks like, oh no, there's a little bit left in that side, but we'll go ahead and throw on one more. So we've used 2 nails for 1 fish. So not ideal, but we might have found a couple. So we'll go ahead and throw another nail in here and then see if we can't catch some more fish. All right, this nail we'll put a little bit further down because right next to the hook is starting to get a little beaten up. This one we'll go ahead and expose just a little bit more. Again, when we were trying to shoot for natural, we're not getting very natural anymore. So there we go. We'll expose it just a little bit more. See if we can't catch another couple. We might end up having to switch on over to a jig or something like that. But see if they aren't potentially stacked in that area. Well, that is it for today. We ended up breaking off our Senko. I threw the jig for a little while and did not have a bite, so that was not ideal, but it is insanely windy and very cold out here, so not the best situation to throw these baits. I mean, jig probably not a bad time, but probably a really good situation to throw that Colorado blade with the kicker, to be honest, but we didn't bring it out. So we will most certainly come back out another day. There's a little bit more favorable weather. We're able to stick it out a little bit longer and again see if that bubble nail can't end up helping us catch a few more fish. We caught one on it today, not a bad one, but these were not ideal conditions at all for a stick bait by any means. But till next one. Welcome back, everybody. So this is day 2 of us fishing with the Geecrack Bubble Nail. The first day we went out, it wasn't phenomenal. Not a great situation to be throwing a Senko. It was incredibly windy. The water was really, really murky. And today isn't much different, to be honest. It's very cold. We've got some wild weather in Wisconsin right now. It's barely above freezing. But we are going to go out and hopefully catch some more fish with this. I did go back and look at the GoPro footage of underwater, and this thing does put off a ton of micro bubbles, a ton. But it shows those off, or those are really, really prominent when it's just sitting still. So I think this bait would probably do, or this little bubble nail would probably do a lot better on a bait that doesn't move as much. So I'm talking like your jigs, maybe creature baits, and especially a Ned rig. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing into a Ned rig, see how it goes into a Z-Man, because their plastic is a little bit tough. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can't catch a couple fish in this disgusting weather. Let's get after it. Well, like we said, Elastec is very, very tough, so I wasn't able to put it in the end where I wanted to. So we're just in the middle of the body, and that made it not really sit straight anymore. So that's not ideal, but we're gonna do our best, see if we can't catch a couple fish. There's one. Oh, got him. Just sitting there. Oh, there he goes. Oh boy. One felt weird. What in the world? I don't think it's a big fish. He's fighting hard. Especially for how cold it is. There he is. Good gracious. Is he bigger than I thought? Normally don't have that big of fish that come out of here. Oh, that's not a bad one for here. Good gracious. Come on, buddy. Normally the biggest thing we catch out here is maybe like a pound and a half. There are some big ones out here, but hey, that's over 2. They just don't happen very often. On the Ned rig, on the bubble nail. Maybe this works. Come on now. Right in the corner. There we go. Oh, we're in the water. Didn't realize that. That's a good one for here. He's got some stuff going on the side of him, which is kind of gross. But he must be a bit of a warrior. We barely had him pinned, and that bubble nail is gone. That is a solid one for here. That's probably a 2 1/4. I'll let you go. Maybe it's off. Maybe they're starting to grow up a little bit in the mini pond. Well, that was a little surprising. It's a good start. That bubble nail is gone. We kind of deformed our net a little bit. Elastec is super tough, so it might be better to use with a Senko, a Yamamoto Ned, or one from Yum or something like that. One that isn't quite as durable, and the nail will go in a little bit easier. But we'll put another nail in. Obviously, we have that hole, so it's a little bit easier now. With throwing a Ned, though, you're moving it so slowly on the bottom This nail lasts for like 3 casts, and that's about it. But that's a good start. Definitely didn't expect to catch a fish that big today, but it is freezing cold. It actually started snowing for a little bit, but we'll throw another nail in there and see if we can't catch another one. This thing is just starting to look stupid now with the nail put in there and looking all cattywampus and whatnot. But it worked for that fish, so let's see if we can't catch another one or two before we lose a finger from frostbite, and then we'll give some reviews on it. There's one. Oh, we missed him. I hadn't been having any luck with the Ned rig just because there's so much grass out here that's starting to form. So switched on over to a Wacky Rig Senko with our little nail in there. Just had a bite. Missed him. It is miserable out here though. Still going to try and catch a couple before we're done, but I don't think our lack of success has anything to do with this nail. I think it's just absolutely disgusting fishing weather. Got him. Got that one. Not very big. I would say average for this little pond. But we just put a new nail into it. Oh, and then we lost it. We just put a new nail. She's bubbling away. I don't know if it helped get that bite, but I've been missing too many lately for as few bites as we're getting. But we're still hoping for one more before we end up giving our final reviews. Get that one. Gonna keep them hooked up. Not a big one, but I think it's bigger than the last one that we had hooked. No, about the same size. Sun's starting to come out and they're starting to feed a little bit more. Come on, buddy. Oh, that bait is down there. Holy cow. Little guy. Got the whole thing down there. Barely had him by the roof though. Looking quite fat. Getting ready for spring. It's a healthy looking one. Alright, well there's one more. We'll see if we can get another one. How's our nail looking? You can just see it poking just out of the top. It's still bubbling. See if we can't catch one more. They seem to be a little bit more active. Temperature's warming up a little bit. It's no longer snowing, so that's good. Well, that is it for today. Who knew that a cold front dropping the temps from the mid-70s down to the 30s would be bad for fishing? But it is what it is. We ended up catching a couple fish the last couple trips, but nothing wild. We actually, the 2.25 pounder we caught today out of the mini pond was actually one of the biggest fish I've caught out of here in quite a while. So that was cool. But as far as the bubble nail, let me see if I can find it. I have 2 of those packs left. So 2 trips, I used 15 nails and ended up catching like 3 fish and missed a couple extra bites. It being $8 to $9, I don't think it's really worth it. It's a neat idea and I wish it worked, but it doesn't. It produces a lot of bubbles, but they're micro bubbles underneath the water. We saw it on the GoPro underwater footage. Is that enough to attract a fish to bite? I don't know. It might. If they're really, really finicky and just staring at that bait, it might do something. But I don't know how often that really occurs to where it would matter that much. Also, the longevity of them, they don't last that long. I would say at most it's maybe 10 minutes per nail, but I would say it's probably closer to like 5 minutes. So you're constantly having to go ahead and flip these things out. You're going to go through them relatively quickly. They're not the easiest to insert into any of the baits, especially the Z-Man. That was terrible because it actually deformed the lure once we actually got it stuck through. So that's not great. If you're putting them into Senkos, obviously Senkos aren't incredibly durable, so putting a bunch of holes in there is not going to make the plastic any more durable. But I think it's something interesting if you want to go ahead and try it out and see in some really finesse, finicky situations. You know, if you're on live scope and you know there are fish down there and they're just staring at your bait, throw one in there. But I don't know that it would generally, just in ordinary situations, do that great. And once you crack these things open, you know, you can't get them wet because they will just disintegrate. So you have to keep them dry. You'd probably have to protect them because they are just a powder. So they're gonna have to be in a tackle box or something like that so that they don't get crushed and everything else, because otherwise you won't be able to put them into a bait. So if you guys have ever used these and, you know, have full faith in them, by all means drop that in the comment section below. I don't think I'll probably buy them again. It's interesting. I wish it worked a little bit better. I wish it lasted a little bit better, but maybe that's just not possible. But as always, if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till next one.